Hello children, it's time for another literacy lesson together. Today we're going to be exploring extended sentences and see how we can structure these sentences in different ways. This will help make our writing more varied. I'm going to share my screen now to show you how this can be done. There we are. I've written 3 extended sentences where the subordinating conjunction is in between the main clause and the subordinating clause. Let's start off with the first one. The princess was heartbroken when the prince had to marry the troll queen. If we were to write extended sentences with using this structure all of the time, your writing gets a little bit repetitive. By changing the structure sometimes, it makes it more varied. So what we can do, instead of starting with the main clause, we can start with the rest of the sentence. When the prince had to marry the troll queen, the princess was heartbroken. We're still telling the reader the same information, we've just structured it in a different way. When we structure it in the different way, there are a few things we have to remember. This is how I put the sentence together. When the prince had to marry the troll queen, the princess was heartbroken. This time, we don't have a conjunction separating the two clauses. And when we read it, it sounds like we pause. Well, we do pause. When the prince had to marry the troll queen, the princess was heartbroken. To separate the two clauses, this time we have to use a comma. I now just need to remember to pop the capital letter at the front, and then this doesn't need to be a capital letter anymore. Let's try the second one. The girl trembled as she answered, yes. Again, I'm now going to start with the second half of the sentence. As she answered, yes, the girl trembled. So again, it makes sense, it's just in a different order. Moving my main clause towards the end, to the end, popping the full stop, and then can you remember what do we have to use to separate those two clauses? That's right, it's a comma. A couple of things need to change. Start with a capital letter. Change that, we don't need that to be a capital letter mid-sentence. And then I'm just going to help you with this part. We're going to move on to correctly punctuated dialogue soon, and because this speech here is no longer at the end of the sentence, that needs to change to a comma, but you don't need to think about that today. And finally, let's see if we can change the structure of this one. She walked and she walked until she was too exhausted to go any further. Let's start our sentence with this part again. Until she was too exhausted to go any further, she walked and she walked. Yes, that makes sense. It's still telling the reader the same information. The most important part that you'll probably find a little bit tricky today, but you need to remember, is popping that comma to separate the subordinating clause from the main clause. And I'll quickly correct the capital letters so that it's accurate. Until she was too exhausted to go any further, she walked and she walked. So if you look here now, we've got pairs of extended sentences. The first way that you've learned already in school, and then the new way that I've explained to you today. So remember, we need to try and remember the commas separating the subordinating clause to the main clause. Watch that again if you would find it useful. It's now time to look at your home learning sheet and have a go at this yourself. Work hard again, everybody. Bye-bye.